Okay, now let me get started. Okay, so agile. So we have discussed various life cycle, right? We have discussed SDLC. We have discussed various SDLC methodologies. Let's quickly check. Sorry. Okay, let's go to Scrum. Scrum. So agile is pretty big. So it has various, so it has various options, right? Scrum. You have one is Scrum, one is Kanban, and the other is like extreme programming. Okay, so these are various way to do the software development process. So agile is actually what is agile? Agile is iterative and incremental process. Okay, iterative and incremental process in software development. So this is kind of management perspective, not what we have to decide. It's like what management has to decide. Okay, so that is about the agile. But since we involve in this methodology, we have to know what's going on, right? So that's the reason, like giving you explanation on this agile. Okay, and let's quickly check few of these various terminology in agile. Okay, maybe I missed something. This is oops. Okay, let me quickly check this one. Yeah, misplaced that. Okay, so I got this. Let's go to quickly. Okay, so this is the URL. So maybe URL will be changed. Okay, so let's go to the terminology part. So first we need to know the terminology. Okay, and so terminology in sense like various hierarchy. Okay, so there are so many people who will be working in agile. So agile is like a teamwork. Okay, so there will be various teams. Let's say, okay, so it's not like waterfall methodology. This is little bit different. Okay, so here what we have like team members. Okay, let's go here in the terminology part and Scrum team. So Scrum team. So we'll be discussing about the Scrum. Scrum is more is like more famous than Kanban and extreme programming. Those things. Scrum is more famous. So we'll go more into Scrum. Okay. So what does it contain? Scrum is also it's an iterative and incremental process. So it's also what is Scrum? Scrum is an iterative and incremental process which consists of product owner, Scrum master, and development team. Okay. So let's go one by one. Product owner. So product owner. So what do you call in waterfall methodology? Business analyst. Here what we call is product owner. Business analyst. Same guy. Same job, different terminology. That's it. Okay, same guy, business analyst. So here what it says, like person responsible for maintaining product backlog. So we'll go more detail about this product backlog. Product backlog is like a very high level requirement, very high level. See, it's not kind of normal requirement. It's not like FRD or BRD. It's more higher than BRD. Okay, so product backlog and stakeholders, which is okay. So development team. So there, the product owner, that is business analyst, coordinates with lot of development team to make sure they get the right application or the right product at the right time. Okay, so this product owner is responsible, for the stakeholders. Okay, and then you have this Scrum Master. Scrum Master is project manager, where you have this, project manager in waterfall methodology. Here you call it Scrum Master, right? So this guy is responsible for the Scrum framework. Okay, see what the Scrum Master does, right? He is a bridge, he or she is a bridge between the, developers and testers. Okay, so make sure you know what is Scrum Master. See, you will be working in a company, right? No one knows in agile. So agile, see, whenever agile is like still it's growing and people have not much idea on agile. So people don't know. See, Scrum Master, right? He or she is responsible for responsible for whatever issues you get, and he needs to follow up with those and fix those. So that is the job of Scrum Master. See, when I was working, right, my manager didn't know what is Scrum Master. So my manager got angry, saying that, hey, why are you giving defects to Scrum Master? Why, what Scrum Master has to do? Okay. So then I told I told my manager, saying that Scrum Master is a bridge between the developer and the tester, right? And he or she is responsible for escalating any issues if there are any if there are any impediments or defects. So because based on my experience, I'd say like Scrum Master. Then she says, oh, okay, okay. Okay, so people don't know. So you have to tell them. Okay, so not everyone knows. Okay, so you need to, then it's showed, being showed actually here they're already there. Okay, that Scrum Master job is removing impediments, and then here is already there, right? If anyone asks you, okay, why you are doing so, they don't know. So this is not organized way of doing the work, right? So I told them, okay, saying that, see, if anyone has any questions, show them this URL, saying that, hey, this is what is this. See, I'm not saying this. This is already done. People are doing this from long back. Okay, so this is how is responsible for removing. So that's the job of a Scrum Master. Okay, is actually project manager. Okay, in waterfall methodology is called project manager. Here we call as Scrum Master, right? And then you have like development team. Okay, development team, right? There can be any development team. So there can be web developer, Java developer, HTML, Ajax, JavaScript, and so on. So there can be any ETL developers. Okay, so you don't have to be necessary that you will be in that development process. Okay, they can be any developers, because a front end an application requires all of them. It requires ETL because you are entering to database. It requires application front end, and if there is front end application, right, you need Java, you need Ajax, it's like based on whatever the company is using. Okay, so that's what development team. Okay, so there is no testing. You see this? There is no testers. See, these people, these guys want to remove the testers from his development, but it's not possible, right? It's not possible. Why? Because see, they want to do this, testing from the development point of view. So, okay, developer will do that work. So now developer, see, as I told you, developers only concentrate on business point of view. So whatever the business requirement is, they figure it out and they fix that. But testers, as a tester, testers, tester verifies an application based on the user point of view. Okay, so that's the reason, right? You cannot assign this testing work to the development team. Okay, so here development team, and then you have like sprint burn down chart. Okay, so this is sprint burn down chart is actually how the sprint is. Let's see. Let's quickly look into sprint. This is sprint burn up chart. We have like sprint burn down chart. So this is like sprint burn down chart, and here you plot the graph. from the number of days to the remaining hours. Okay, so this like ideally it should be like the green color, this ideal burn down, but real time it doesn't happen that way, right? So it has so many ups and downs. Okay, so it's like total remaining effort, so how much effort is required and how many like task is completed. Okay, so this is like burn down chart. So this is normally prepared by the scrum master. Scrum master, see, this is like now no one actually prepares this manually in the traditional way. The traditional way they used to prepare, like scrum master used to prepare. Now no one prepares. You see, there are various tools, right, to prepare this. You don't have to depend on like anyone. So as I told you, right, you can let's take an example here. Rally prepares by itself burn down chart. You don't have to prepare anything manually, right? You see this. Let's go to the reports and let's check it quickly. Reports. You see this iteration burn down chart? This is automatically done. You don't have to know, no one actually interferes and nobody actually does manually here. So in traditional way they used to do. Okay, they used to take the big paper and print it out and put the chart here. Okay, now it's not required. Everything is there. The tool itself does that one. Okay, so that's and there are many other charts like release burn down chart and product back. Okay, so this release burn down chart and sprint burn down chart. Okay, there's two charts, and of course, as you can see, there are other graphs too. Okay, so here you have various graphs. Like release burn up and story burn up and story burn down. Okay, so on. So many graphs, and if you want, you can create your own graphs too based on the requirement. Okay, so these are about the graphs. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So you have like product backlog. See, product backlog is a like high level prioritized like high level requirements. Let's quickly see this. So here you see this. So this is like product backlog. That means product backlog is very high level requirements. Okay, as a tester, as a developer, you may not know what is what is that requirement. See the way it is prepared, right? You have this Excel sheet. Okay, they will write something like if there is working like the business analyst will write just one line about this product backlog. They say like um, new application on GM online tool. That's it. That's the product backlog. Okay, they don't know how much amount of work is involved. What's the how many like how many URLs it might contain, how many images it contain, how much chunk of amount of work. Nobody knows. Okay, only the business analyst will just write it down. Okay, application user interface application. Okay, that's a product backlog. Why? Because you don't know what's going on. Okay, you just have this, you don't even have this URL, and the business analyst or product owner will figure it out, saying that okay, so this is what the application. Okay, here we know here this application is ready made. We know this all buttons and so on, but the real time we don't know. Just say GMO online application, web application. That's it. That's a product backlog. Okay. So that is product backlog. That means just one line statement. There is no more documentation. See, everything is eradicated. No more documentation, nothing. Okay, they'll just put a one line in Excel sheet saying that GMO application. That's it. And any other, if there's fields, remaining, customer fields. Okay, customer fields, there are so many customer fields, first name, last name, address, okay, credit card information, SSN, so many things. We don't know unless we figure it out, like, unless it is divided into next level, we don't know. So that is product backlog, right? So it's very high level, it says like, very high level requirement. You don't know. You just get one line statement and you cannot figure it out what is, what is related to which one. Just a high level requirement. Then you have like sprint backlog. Okay, so there is like sprint. Sprint is like sprint is time box. That is it's like typically 1 to 4 weeks. Okay, so that is sprint. And it consists of like sprint is like kind of 1 to 4 weeks. That is like, let's take for ease, like will take 1 month. Okay, so 1 month you have this sprint. Okay, and like sprint backlogs, let's see. Let's take it here an example. So you have this product backlog. Like this product backlog, each backlog is divided into sprint. That means, let's say this one box, you see this four boxes. That means 4 different boxes has 4 different requirements. Okay, so that is very high level. We don't know what is that. Okay, once it gets divided, that means this is divided into 4 sprints. That each one box is divided into 4 sprints. That means that it has to be done in 4 sprints. That's 4 months. Let's take an example here, not necessary just 4 months, just to for a convenience we are taking as 4 months. So that means it has to be completed within 4 months. This one chunk of block. So that is called sprint backlog, because here sprint means the time box unit. Okay, that means it's taking some time. Okay, so that's why I call it sprint. Okay, backlog means it has some work to do. Okay, within 4 months. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and one sprint 30 days. Okay, and in every sprint we deliver this product. Okay, so that is sprint backlog. Okay, how much amount of work is remaining in one sprint is called sprint backlog. Okay, so there are other terminologies. You can go ahead and read this. Okay, so and these keep on they keep on increase, they keep on like develop new features for this. Okay, so this also have this task, right? Task is like the amount of work. So in one sprint, how many tasks? So normally you have like 10 at the max. You have 10. You don't have more than that. 10 to 15. If you go more than that, it becomes very it's very hectic. Takes more time actually. So you have to divide. So that's task. So what task have been assigned to you? Will be there in the list. Okay. So that is task. And impediment. So impediment is what we call in waterfall methodology defect. Here we call as impediment. Okay. So it's kind of defect. So here it says like prevent the team member performing work as efficiently as possible. So if there is an impediment, you need to go ahead and check with the developer. So developer doesn't care, saying that no, I have different work to do. I have I have no time for this defect. Okay, and they say that's it. So you need to approach Scrum Master, saying that hey, I think this is a defect because this is an impediment. This is stopping my work, and it's a defect actually because it's it gives us explanation, and then from there project manager supposed to take care of that, right? That is the impediment. Okay, so this is all about the terminologies. Any question in this terminology? Okay, so this is yeah, Jana, do you have any question?
Yes, Mr. Mitra, when we talk about these terminologies, are these within the agile method? Terminology for the agile?
Right, this is more specific to the Scrum. Yeah, Agile. That's right, Agile.
Okay. And also rally is also one agile, right?
A rally is a tool used in Agile. It's a tool.
Tool,
Okay.
okay.
So,
I'm sorry, I'm trying to compile it, okay?
yeah, no issue. So Agile is actually a methodology. Methodology that methodology is kind of the way we do the work in the environment. Okay, software environment. And the rally is actually the tool you use in the Agile.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Thank you.
So any more questions? So here let's. So this is the process. Okay, so this is Scrum process which is used in Agile. Okay, and so as I told you, right, product backlog, which is again divided into sprint backlog. Okay, and what does the sprint contains? It contains like 30 days of time period. and after that we deliver this product to the client or whoever we are looking at. We deliver this product. Okay, so product backlog is pretty high level requirement. Testers don't know, developers don't know, because it's just one line statement. It's not, see, it's no more like waterfall, right? Waterfall we have like all documents, BRD, FRD, and system request specification, data modeling, and so on. We have a lot of documents, easy to understand, easy to work. Here nothing. Here product backlog is like one line statement saying that they'll write in Excel sheet saying that application, user application for GMO online. That's it. You don't know how does it look like, what are the features, and okay. So that is again divided. That's why it is divided into 4 sprints, because you need to divide our user interface, you have to fields values, how many URLs, and so on. All this has to be designed, right? So that's the reason you have this 4 sprints. So that all things will be discussed in the sprints. Okay, so which is very important, which has to go first and which has to go next, and so on. Okay, so then sprint is like 30 days and then it goes to the day. So that's how this process. Okay, so this is how agile process works. This is just a small scrum process explanation. Okay, next we'll move to the next topic. Okay, just give me 2 minutes. Okay, so I'll be give me just 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm back. Um, so let's figure it out. Let's the, the next process for this. So that is about the terminology. Okay. Now let's go to the okay. So here, so as I told you, right? So these are the responsibilities and duties of a Scrum Master. Okay. So here are the few responsibilities of a Scrum Master. Okay. So see here, instead of like we don't have like um, more interaction with our boss. So here we have more interaction with the project manager. Okay, now boss is like completely they have moved into a different different team, and they don't like have more interaction unless it's a technical guy, like sometimes they have like managers are technical, they are invited to different meetings, or else they are not interacted with the project level. So project level everything is taken care by the Scrum Master. So Scrum Master prepares like various meetings. Okay, sprint grooming session, sprint planning session. Okay, and impediments impediment solving, and so on. Okay, so that's responsibilities of a Scrum Master and responsibilities. So responsibilities of product owner is like similar to business analyst. Okay, but these are like communicate with the stakeholders, communicate with the status team. I'm sorry, team status. So like they communicates with the developer team. Okay, and if you have any issues or user stories which requires attention of product owner, then you also can coordinate with the product owner to make sure like is it appropriate or not. So that is about. Okay, so let's go about this various meetings. So we have various. Okay, so you will be having various meetings. So you have this. Let's see, sprint planning. Okay, this is like sprint planning session. Okay, and this will be like kind of like 3 to 4 hours, 3 to like 6 hours. Sometimes it goes to 6 hours, but 3 to 4 hours. So, and what does they discuss in this? So they discuss about what are the features that are going into this sprint. So that's see, that's here you see this sprint. Like let's say your sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4, right? 4 boxes. In the sprint 1, let's say they'll be discussing on this sprint, saying that okay, so what we are going to do with that product backlog. Okay, so how many parts is it been divided? Which is the priority issue and which has to go to this to which has the product has to be delivered. So all these things have been defined in the sprint planning. Okay, and this is like um, 4 hours, like 4 to 3 to 6 hours actually. Okay, so anytime it will be in between that. Okay, so any questions in this planning, sprint planning? So here in the sprint planning, not always managers, your boss are invited here, unless, as I told you, right, unless your boss is technical point of view, or development team who is like more technical point of view, who knows what's going on and like how many features are to be delivered and how many features are not to be delivered, all those things, right? So they will be into this team. Okay, and then you have this. So they will see the sprint planning, like so there is one more like meeting. There will be like sprint grooming session. So it's not there here. Okay, so sprint grooming is also like similar to sprint planning. It happens normally like after either after sprint planning, okay, or before that. So to make sure like whatever user stories that have been missed, okay, so that they will cover in the sprint planning or sprint grooming session. Okay. Then we have this, see, then we have this like daily scrum. And this daily scrum, this is also a meeting where you will be having like 15 minutes. Okay, 15 minutes. And this is, okay, and normally what you discuss in this daily scrum, right? 3 to 4 important things. What have you done yesterday? What have what are you going to do today? And what are you going to do tomorrow? And what are their impediments? Okay, what are the impediments? The 4 things you will be discussing about. And this is more like, this is only for 15 to 20 minutes. It doesn't go beyond that. If it goes beyond that, then you're doing something wrong. It's normally 15 to 20 minutes max. That's it. Okay, so 4 major things. What have you done yesterday? What are you going to do today? And what are you going to do tomorrow? And what are the impediments that is stopping you? Okay, so that is daily scrum, and it's like it's normally in the morning session, and it happens like 15 to 20 minutes. That's it, not more than that. So here you see this picture. So this is like daily scrum meeting. So here you have this project manager, developer team. Okay, discuss about the various impediments, or discuss many various user stories, how it's what's going on and stuff. Okay, so that's about the daily scrum. Then you have one more meeting, that is review and retrospective. So here you will be normally only attending these meetings. Okay, so review and retrospective meeting. So this is the end of the your sprint. So once you are you're reaching to the end, or like almost you have reached the end, you have started the next sprint, then you quickly finish this review and retrospective meeting. So what you'll be discussing in this? So you'll be discussing what has gone good, what didn't go good, how can you improve. These three things. Okay, three things that you need to see in this sprint and retrospective. What went good, what didn't go good, and how can we improve it. Okay, so that is about review and retrospective meeting. So this is normally the end of the sprint. So three major, three major, meetings: sprint planning, the start of the, start of the sprint, and your daily scrum, irrespective of any, planning or any, any meetings, you'll be having this. Okay, daily scrum will be, having irrespective of any meeting. Okay, normally you have to continue, with the daily scrum actually. Okay, and then you will be having like review and retrospective. So this is at the end of the sprint. Okay. Any questions in this meeting perspective? So this actually how this is how like whole sprint is like designed. This is all how the sprint is designed, and this is how like in normally ideal scrum you will be having all this. Okay. So let's quickly check this one. So this is like task board. This is traditional way. Okay, now I don't know how many people are following this one. This is traditional way of doing it. So now you don't no more require that this board. So you have this board which all the user stories are actually are there in the left side. You see this all the user stories, and this is like to do column, and you have all this how much amount of work to be done in this to do column, and then you have in progress. Once it's completed, like it will be in like when you are in mid of the completion, then it will be in progress, then testing. So this is information about sprint ends. So these all are like user stories which are located in the stories column. So user story, so user story, right? It's a requirement. So this is um, like this requirements not high level, which is the requirement which you need to which you can understand, and it has to be performed by the developer and as well as the tester. Okay, so this is called user stories. So of course this is also like as you can see, it's a 1-2 line 1-2 line statement saying that what has to be done. Okay, so you cannot start testing once the development has completed, right? Once the development is completed, then only you can start testing. So this to do these are like sticky notes, right? So it has they'll write something on the sticky note saying that okay, this is the development and this is how it's going, and how much time is required. Let's say 5. Okay, so let's say 5 days. Okay, 5 days. That means it includes 3 days of development, 2 days of testing. So that's what it includes. Okay, so once it completes, so that means 3 days. Okay, now developer says okay, 3 days we completed this, 2 days and and all the coordination work and all this work should be completed in 3 days. Once it gets, this sticky notes gets moved into in progress, and then once it's good, this sticky note will move to the sprint end. After it's completed, then testing job starts. To do, in progress, and then testing. Okay, so that's how. This is like traditional way. It's like not always here we are using here. Okay, so because we have this tool, even if you don't have tool, right, you can recommend. Okay, you can recommend to the to the people saying that, hey, do you use client? Okay, do you guys like use rally? Okay, do you guys use a rally? So rally is a test management tool, okay, where you can do all the agile. So here everything you're here, like you can see this burn down chart, and you no more have to maintain that traditional way of let's quickly check here. So if you go to dashboard, right, so all this will be showing up here. So here it doesn't show up. Okay. So here you see this, all the information is like this, how many defects are pending. So for this, I mean for this project, okay, so it's necessary to go to this project and see information about that, then only it gets updated on that project. Okay, so actually you can also add this new, you have this gear icon, right, you can add it, and you can add this new feature similar to this. So here you are doing more into traditional method. Okay, so that's about this. This is Scrum task board. Okay, whenever you are using that Scrum, right, this is the task board. Any questions in Agile? So let's quickly go through this document. So everything, see, all this task board and all those will be, actually automatically updated in the Rally. Okay, this tool. This is a good tool. I mean, if you are using in Agile, okay, if you are working in waterfall methodology or any other methodology, any tool would do. Doesn't have to be this. But since everyone are using, everyone are moving to new, everyone has to move at once, right? So at one point of time, it has to move to the new, because the old one gets outdated, right? You cannot use the same thing, the old. So you need to use new tools and new, technology to move forward. So this is like Rally is good. I mean, there are other tools too. It's not just this, uh, but this is pretty good to manage. Okay. Um, I mean, I just got used to it, so you know, it's so you can use any tool. Doesn't don't have to be any Rally or something like that. Okay. That is. Let's quickly go through this slides. So all this, right? So all this information. So if you want these slides or you want to read this, so as I told you, right, you have all this in the Google Drive. Okay, so everything will be there in the Google Drive. So I'll just quickly show you. So just go to this Google Drive. So if you want to, if you want to view the slides or want to go through it, you have this. Go to 26th directory, and you have all this information here. including the syllabus. You have this, whatever I discussed with the slides, you have all this here, right? Go to the 26th directory, QA class, okay? So you find all this information. Okay, so let's go quickly. Yes. So as I told you, right, agile. So agile is it's a methodology. Okay. So it has so many other, so many other divisions. Like can say like subdivisions. So it has Scrum. Don't you see? Normally Scrum. Okay, it's an iterative and incremental process. Okay, normally Scrum is like more famous. Okay, so it's like even if you want to use extreme programming, you can do that. So that is a different way of doing the work. So it's kind of like these are like the way you do the work. Not exact. These are not tools. Okay, these are not exactly the tools. These are like this methodology. Methodology is sense like more for a management perspective. So whatever the management thinks like this has to be done this way, they move this from this perspective. Okay. So there are more extreme programming, adaptive software development, dynamic system developing method, and then you have Kanban. Okay. So there are so many things in Agile. So we have discussed about the Scrum. So all these will be have similar terminologies and not just similar terminologies, but the way the work is done is different. So they may not have like like daily scrum meeting or something like that. Okay, they might not have, but they will have the sprint planning meeting. Okay, they will be having the meetings, of course. Okay, but the way they are done is like differently. Okay, so that's the various. It's like scrum. So So this is like advantages of the Scrum. Okay, so why do we use Scrum? Because it is iterative and incremental process, and it controls the chaos of conflicting interests and needs. It's not necessary, you know, so it actually creates more chaos. Make sure everyone should supposed to know the terminology, that is basics. Okay, so if you know the basics, you can make to understand the boss saying that, hey, this is how the work is done. Okay, so it's the scrum master. We can tell them, showing that, okay, so this is how like the team responsibilities. What are the responsibilities and what are the duties, okay, of a scrum master or a development team or a product owner, and they have to coordinate with those. So because see, they don't know. See, those guys will be working from like 10, 20, 30 years and still they don't know what is going on. So we should tell them, not they telling us, right? So we have to tell them saying that, hey, this is the want to give the source for this, you can give them. So it's not I think so, based on my experience, you can say to them, based on my experience, so this is how we used to work in my company, right? So if you need like you can give this URL saying that, hey, this is how it's see, this is the job of a scrum master. Okay. Sometimes it's pretty much chaos, right? But there's like at work it's pretty much chaos. Those guys don't know what to do, but still they will be working like from 10 to 15 years. Okay, so you need to tell them. So some of the Scrum. So this is how like Scrum, what we have discussed. There's a product backlog which has to go to sprint, that is divided each each product backlog is divided into various sprints. Okay, so one sprint is like 30 days, 30 days, and then then you deliver the product. Okay, so we have discussed the Scrum, or the components of Scrum. Okay, Scrum roles, process, Scrum articles. So we have discussed about Scrum manager, Scrum team. So typically you see this 5 to 10 people. 10 people will be too much. 5 people is good. You don't go more than 5 people. If you are like you increase more people, it's no more like agile, because agile is like you want to move fast. And how can you move fast? If you have small teams working together, you can move fast. You cannot move fast with like many people at one team, in just one team, and you want to like make it. So it's kind of like it becomes little bit slow, because too many people, we need to have too many responsibilities, we need to check too many people work, so it's not possible. Okay, so that's why they are divided into teams. Like 5 people is good, one scrum master, 2 developers, 1 tester, that's it, right? So that's good. Remaining work we can coordinate with the other team will be handling it, you can work with them. Okay, so that is more like easy way. So that's the reason you don't have many people, 5 to 10 people, that's it. And cross functionals, that is QA, programmers, your designers, anyone can be in your team. That's about the Scrum team. Okay, product owner, we discussed about this. Okay, the process. So process is like meeting. So you'll be having planning meeting, then you have like sprint grooming sometimes. Okay, sprint, if you have like sprint grooming meeting, and daily meeting. So you will be having the daily scrum. Okay, so and then you have like sprint retrospective or meeting. Okay, this is the process. So we have discussed about this sprint planning. You can go through this if you want. Like, you can. And also, I will be giving you homework on this agile. Okay, as you told, right? Daily Scrum always has to contain like what have you done yesterday, what have you done today, what are you going to do today, and what will be doing tomorrow, and what are the impediments that is stopping you. Okay, so let's review. So there are Scrum artifacts, there is product backlog, sprint backlog, and burn down charts. These are the Scrum artifacts. That means this is the major, what does the Scrum contains? These 3 things, the Scrum contains product backlog, sprint backlog, burn down charts. So here we already discussed about the product backlog. See, as I told you, product backlog is like forecast, is not exact. So as I told you, right, it's just a 1-line statement or 2-line statement. That's it, saying that user interface. That's it, and they'll give the project name, some project name. That's it. So it's just a forecast. Okay, they are telling you, but it's not necessary what it has to be, what it should be. They can change everything later. Okay. See, all these chart you can you don't have to create one after the other. You can view everything in this. This is more easy way of looking the charts. Okay, you have everything here. What if you don't have what you're looking for, you can create your own. Go ahead and click here, and you can design your own charts. Okay, almost all of these charts will be there in the cube, so you don't have to worry which chart you have to use or which not. Even if someone asks, right? So what how do you design like burn down chart? What is burn down chart? We can say that burn down chart is like it has like x-axis and y-axis number of hours that are burned. And normally it's like it's done by the Scrum Master. It's normally this is more related to Scrum Master, and we have a tool that generates automatically, so we don't have to depend on like each other. Rally does this all job for us. You know, we can create our own charts too. That's all about. Okay, so here it has advantages and disadvantages of agile. Okay, so agile. So in waterfall, I told you right where where quality is more important than cost. That's when you use waterfall. In agile is other way, when cost is more important than quality, so you are not worrying about the quality. So in this, quality is really degraded. You're not getting good quality. Okay, you'll be doing your testing part, you'll be opening defects, you'll be doing everything, but at the end of the day, when it still reduces the quality. Okay, so this is all about the agile. So we talk more onto the scrum, because scrum like mostly it'll be like having scrum. If it is Kanban or like any other, it's I mean it's like easy than the scrum, because you don't follow that many features and that many functionalities what we follow in scrum. So it will be easy. So you'll be have limited functionalities in Kanban, and it's easy going actually. So like you don't have these many meetings, or just one meeting per sprint, and that's it. You go on with that. It's pretty much easy. Then Scrum has so many features and so many functionality. So you have to go each and everything, each and every planning session, grooming session, daily Scrum, and so on. Okay. Any questions in overall agile? If you have questions, you can reach me out. If you have something is not clear, I know today is not didn't give properly. But if you have any questions, you can you know you can call me, or you can email me, so that I can explain it. Okay, so if no one has any questions, can we? Yeah, Umar, do you have any question?
Yes, sir. I have a question regarding the SIM certification. How we are gonna log in into it? Do we need to create a password and username?
Oh, how are we going to log into Rally?
Yes, to complete the certification, sir.
Oh, to complete the certification. Oh, I'll send an email. Actually, think I have actually explained that email actually. So let me quickly check that. Give me a second. Oops. Ah, so I'll send an email. Okay. So I have explained here how to how to log in. So you need actually um, in Microsoft email ID, either live.com or outlook.com. Okay. So you can work on that. So I'll send you an email. So no issues. Okay. Okay. So Jana, do you have any question?
Yeah, Mr. Mitra, regarding the last class, we were talking about how to write the test plan. So is it something that a QA tester will be doing? Because that was kind of a little hard test plan. I mean, is it something very important that the test as a tester does it in the everyday basis?
Right. So that is more for a QA lead of QA lead point of view. QA tester will
QA lead point of view. Okay.
okay. So but see,
And then,
yeah, thing is like if you go as a senior, right? If you go as a senior QA tester or something like that, at that time they might tell you to do it. So I mean, I'll not be get surprised with that saying that okay, do this. So you have to do it. So that's the reason like doing that.
okay. So at first we will be writing the test case, right? And then if the test case passes, then we will move forward. But if there are some bugs, we will raise the question, right?
Right.
So for the defect, we do not execute. Am I right? Is there a good time to call you so that I can compile? I know I did understand, but I have few concerns. So can I call you, Mr. Mitra, after the class? Not to disturb everyone.
Sure. You can call me like it's like 12 p.m. right? You can reach me out like 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. Is 2 p.m. good for you?
2 p.m. Alrighty. Okay, I will do that. Thank you so much, Mr. Mitra. Thank you.
Okay. See, even if I don't pick up the call, right? Send me an email. Okay, send me an email so that I'll call you back.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty. Sounds good.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah. So, any other questions? Okay. So, if no one has questions, can we close this class for today? See, tomorrow, like, let's see if I know. Let me even check tomorrow. Like, I was planning to give like HPALM, HPALM and one more test management tool. Basically, it's other than Agile. I mean, you don't have to know it like as such, but just introduction for you. Even that you will be having a knowledge of a new tool, another tool basically. So, but if you know the rally well and good, and you know you are well versed in that, and I mean, don't get addicted to the tool. That's what I mean. Just, you know it good, but don't get used to it and saying that no, this is Zephyr. Okay, I don't know Zephyr. No, I only know Rally. So that doesn't work that way because nobody knows. So technically, nobody knows it. So everyone are like kind of new when you go into the project. Okay, so no one knows what you know. No one knows what they know. Okay, so don't get addicted to the tool, and you can say, yeah, I know it. I just want to just brush up some quickly because I've used, not used recently because it was my previous project. Just I want to just quickly brush up, and you can Google it or something like that. You can figure it out. So. Okay, somebody asks if suddenly sometimes they ask, right? Just because they are using it, they'll ask suddenly, okay, do you know this tool? Yeah, I know this tool and I used to write test cases, I used to execute the test cases, I used to log in defects and I use a lot. Okay, so you can say that. But if you like, some suddenly they use some technical functionality or something like that, then you can say, yeah, I used it, but it was like pretty long time. I used in previous projects. Just for I can brush up, no big deal. Just 1-2 hours. I'll be good with that. Okay, so okay. Um, no one have class, so I'm sorry. No one have any questions. I'll be closing this class. Okay. Okay. Thank you guys.